information is located on Facebook. It's also located on our website. And if all else fails, 922-3111. Give us a call and we'll direct you on the right path. That's all I have.
Thank you.
I just have one question, Pete. There's been a couple residents that have asked me about this, and a few of them, somebody asked a question that they're already looking at their bill. Are they already seeing something about aggregation on their bill now?
On their bill, only gas.
On gas, yeah.
Not
Because they seem to think it was more expensive now than it was before that. Can you explain that?
It shouldn't be. We're hearing all kinds of.
I can actually explain it because I
Okay.
get the bills.
Go ahead.
I had a resident say the same thing. What it is before it was passed through. So Duke would include it in the numbers in your bill. You wouldn't really pay attention to it. Now when you look at the back of the bill, there's a separate section that says Integris Energy Alliance, and it's broken down. So it pops out now, and they think it's an additional fee that's getting on top of it. All they're doing is showing this is what's going there, and it's not a pass-through anymore. So I had the same comment to me, and that's why people think it's an add-on, but it's not. It's just being highlighted.
Gas has always been taxed. Electric is not. Don't know why the Public Utility Commission or State of Ohio or federal, whoever decides what is taxed, but yeah, let's not give them any ideas. Electric is not taxed. So they should be almost able to make apples to apples comparison on that. Although I will caution people, please, we have, with this program, have gathered not just Delhi Township, but a lot of other municipalities and other townships have joined forces. So when if you go to a car dealership and you say, I want 100 cars, what's the price per car, versus you go and buy one and say, what's the price for that one car, who do you think is going to get a better deal? And a lot of these people, places that are sell by night, trying to get you to commit long-term contracts that get you up front and rake you over the coals next 3 years, and you $500 to get out of the contract, and all this other stuff people are kind of falling for. Note that the township, we've vetted the program, the process. We've seen Green Township use it, Coleraine Township use it. Many of other neighboring communities have used this process, so we know that we're getting the best deal for the individual. A lot of people start looking at their bill on electric-wise, and let me just speak to that for 1 second. In the electric bill, you have distribution charges and delivery charges. They're broken down separate, and some people miss the one, and they'll see, oh, well, this is only 2.9 cents. It's 0.0029 or however it is, and we're saying our price is 0.0589 is ours. And there's like, well, mine's cheaper than 0.0589. They're not adding the two together on the parts of their bill to come up with what they're actually paying. There is a large increase due from Duke as well that's coming up, and we're locked in for the electric at that price till December of 2017. So just, I guess bottom line is, if you have questions on this, call them. Have your bill ready beside you. Go through it with them. Make sure you're making an educated guess. The good thing about our program, there's no opt-out fee. You can get in anytime. You can get out anytime. There's no strings attached. If you like it, you can join us at any time, but just be educated on what you are actually paying when you look at your bill. So please look at that. If you're getting a better deal right now, great. Maybe in 6 months you won't, and you can jump on our program at that time. But just make an educated guess. The contact information is there, or call us and we'll guide you in the right direction.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Will.
Reading of the resolutions, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2015-019, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the township by the township administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution 2015-020, Resolution amending appropriations for expense in various funds and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
Yes, this is a budget amendment adding an additional $5,000 to legal counsel labor for fees. This is needed basically to cover the rest of the year in legal services. That should be just basic legal services. The funding that we have budgeted basically has been exhausted, but with good reason, because of the collective bargaining is complete for the year, and that took up the money that we had budgeted. So we have to have a little bit of a balance, $5,000 in there for the rest of the year.
So next year it should be less, because we don't have we won't have any collective bargaining.
In theory.
Okay. All right. All right, I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion, dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-021, resolution authorizing participation in and execution of the Hamilton County, Ohio Fire EMS Mutual Aid Agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Interim Chief Campbell.
No, this is pretty straightforward. This contract hasn't been updated since 1991, so I think pretty sure we were using fire trucks back then, and we're using fire trucks now. It covers all the bases. It brings it up to code, and it's best practices, and it applies to computer-aided dispatch. So really, we're just bringing things up to date as it's reflected in the practices now with mutual aid agencies. And then the Hamilton County Fire Chiefs will serve as a repository for these agreements. I liken this to if we have a natural disaster and we call in mutual aid companies, these contracts are, in fact, contracts that allow us to work together when it comes into issues of federal funding, state funding. These contracts being signed and up to date are what really protects our jurisdiction and other jurisdictions to use mutual aid. So it's pretty straightforward.
Any questions, Trustee Seavey?
None.
Trustee Klug?
None.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion, dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2015-022, resolution authorizing execution and submission of the 2014 Township Highway System Mileage Certification and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on the resolution?
No. I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion, dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Resolution passes. I do not have any pink sheets for citizen comments tonight. Announcement of community events. Mr. Luby?
The Western Wildlife Corridor Winter Membership Meeting will be Tuesday, February 17th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at Earth Connection at 370 Neeb Road. The public is invited to attend to learn about their activities and mission to preserve the scenic beauty and natural resources of the Ohio River Valley. Chris Swigard of Wild Birds Unlimited will be the guest speaker. Contact Roz at 451-4594 for more details, or go to www.westernwildlifecorridor.org. The Delhi Historical Society program, The History of Spring Grove Cemetery, will be Monday, March 9th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Park Lodge, 5125 Foley Road. The public is invited to attend. Author Phil Nuxall will talk about the history of the Spring Grove Cemetery and present his books, Beauty in the Grove and Stories in the Grove. The Delhi Branch Library program, Doll Collecting Before the American Girl Doll with Carol Wood, will be Tuesday, March 10th, 2015 at 7 p.m. It will be at the Delhi Branch Library, 5095 Foley Road. The public is invited to attend. To learn more, please contact the library at 369-6019 or email Mary Beth Brestel at cincinnatilibrary.org. In other announcements, the 2015 American Lung Association Fight for Air Climb A team of 11 Delhi Township firefighters will again participate in the Fight for Air Climb charitable event to raise money for the American Lung Association. The event will take place at the Crew Tower on Sunday, February 15th, 2015, from 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Having won the event the past 2 years, the department is eager to retain the title and hope to beat their best time of 8 minutes and 41 seconds. If you are interested in supporting your Delhi Township firefighter team with a monetary donation, please visit the Delhi Team's ALA event page on the American Lung Association's website. To learn more, please call Lieutenant Dan Alberts at 922-2011. The Delhi Township Fire Department's educational programs support those who wish to stop smoking and give people with COPD the tools to live fuller lives. Get the dirt on backyard composting. The Hamilton County Recycling and Solid Waste District will present a free 1-hour seminar focusing on the basics of backyard composting on Wednesday, April 8th, 2015 at Oak Hills High School at 7 p.m. Supplies and seats are limited. Contact the district to pre-register at www.hamiltoncountyrrecycles.org or call the recycling hotline at 946-7734.
I also want to announce the Western Economic Council is meeting February 20th, 2015 at 7:30 a.m. at Receptions. The speaker this time will be Greg Hartman. With that, there is need for executive session tonight. Could we have the motion, Mr. Luby?
Motion 2015-023 to retire to executive session to consider the employment and dismissal of public employees and reviewing negotiations with public employees.
I move motion 2015-023 to retire to executive session to consider the employment and dismissal of public employees and reviewing negotiations with public employees.
Second the motion.
Mr. Luby, please call roll.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mrs. Klug?
Yes.
Motion passes. That concludes our regular meeting tonight. Our next meeting for the Board of Trustees is Wednesday, February 25th, 2015. Everyone have a good night.